Well, hello there, friends. So look what we're working on this time. This happened to come out of a 1994 Chevy Suburban. So these are like the most difficult sun visors to do in the world, right? I always got to say in the world. Well, you know, they probably really are. So I'm going to tell you what this is. So we have a mirror, lighted mirror. We have a wire going through the post right here. And we also have an extension here for the visor that we got to work around. Look at that. So this is what he sent me. Look at that. These are just like pieces that are left over from this thing. What a mess, huh? So what this is I'm doing something that I've never, ever, ever done before. And I said I probably never would do, is accept a job from a YouTube viewer. One of our viewers sent this to me. So he did, and he sent me a letter. Everything here explaining, got all his information. And I told him that I would agree to do this, that I'd give it a shot. And now I'm committed, aren't I? So let's go ahead and get this done for him, all right? So here we go. So we got a box here. What's in the box? We got 2 visors. This is probably the worst of the 2. We got our patterns here for our chipboard. They fell out of there, I guess. Here's one that's a little bit more intact. Right here. That's what they're supposed to look like when we're done. But better, newer. And lots and lots of bubble wrap. Ooh. I'm not gonna tell you what I'm gonna do with this off camera later. One of the things about these sun visors is, look at this. These are plastic rivets. And you can see that they're on there. They were heated to mount all these plastic parts. You see them everywhere. That means I can't take this thing apart. I can't remove anything. So I'm going to show you here in a little while how we're going to put all this here back together without me actually removing this stuff. So stick around. I promise you, if you stick around to the end, that you will be rewarded. So let's go ahead and start taking this thing apart. So the obvious thing is to finish ripping off the material. See if I can get this removed. Not as easy as it looks. I thought it would just come apart like tissue paper. Oh, what a mess. Oh, that's nasty. All the old foam is stuck underneath there. Okay. This is going right in the trash. Try to get rid of all that old nastiness. So this one here, it's loose. I don't think it's supposed to be loose. Looks like some of those little plastic things gave away. Okay. If you find value in my upholstery tutorials, now is an easier way to contribute to my YouTube channel. Buy a coffee by scanning this QR code now. Thank you. So this, my friends, is what's called chipboard. That's what we call it in the industry. So if you call up a upholstery supplier and ask for chipboard, this is pretty much what you're going to get. What it is, it's like a small or like really thin compressed cardboard, which is what this here used to be. So this is where we're going to get our new material from. We're going to draw out our patterns here to make the new one. But you know, what's funny is people in the comments, they always want a link to something. Can you link that for me so that way I know where to buy it? You know, that's what they always say in comments. But you know, there's no links because I don't buy this on Amazon, right? I get it from an upholstery supplier. So usually what I tell them is just to Google upholstery supplier near me, and then you'll probably find the place, and they'll almost always have chipboard. So the other thing I discovered is that Home Depot and Lowe's, they sell this stuff by the roll. So it comes in a roll, not in a cut sheet like this. I don't know what they're using it for roofing or for what, but it's almost exactly the same thing, and it comes in a big giant roll, which would probably be like a lifetime supply, right? If you did that. Anyway, so I put these two pieces here together because I guess that's what the sun visor used to look like. I want to make sure everything here is matched up, because now what we're going to have to do is draw this out. So I can see that here there's a piece missing right here. So we're going to have to come back and draw that in, make up for the missing piece. So let's go ahead and start drawing this out with pencil. I use pencil because that's what's going to be the most accurate to duplicate this piece. So I do know that it ends right there. This is that little visor extender piece, and I think it probably goes like that, and it's probably going to match this one here, so I'll draw that in later. Okay. Let's finish drawing this out. Get my shoulder out of the way, that way you can see it. The thing about having a camera behind me is that sometimes I'm in front of the camera. Okay, let's go ahead and draw where the mirror goes. I don't know what these two dots here are for, but I'll put them in anyway. Probably nothing. So next thing that's really important is drawing the fold lines here, where to fold it. So same thing here with these little ear flaps right here. Okay, I guess that's it. Okay, let's go ahead and draw in our fold lines. Be one right there, one right here, looks like one right here. This one, this side here has two. Okay, let's go ahead and get this cut out. Try to cut a nice straight line, because if it's not straight, you're probably going to see it in your finished product. Okay, here comes the hard part. This is where the artist in you comes in. Just take your time. Oh, my scissor got caught. Okay, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to leave this side on here until later. So we have to rebuild that. The missing part. Now what we have are the folds. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a really wide, heavy, straight edge like this, and I will match it up to the line that I drew there earlier. And what I'll do is I'll take something that has a really nice sharp edge like that, not too sharp, but I'll just use this little screwdriver and I'll score the line. I guess I'll do that a couple times. I think that should be enough. Okay, let's do the second one. Same way. So we don't want to use the razor blade, right? So what we're trying to do is make a hinge. Okay. Now we should be able to fold it. I guess what I could do is if I flip it over this way, that might help assist in that other fold, wouldn't it? Wait, maybe I gotta go this way. Okay. See if that helped. I guess it did. Okay. So now we should have two hinges. That way we can fold this in half like that. You see that? Okay, now that we did that, I think I can repair this broken side. Fold it in half. See if I can draw this out. See if that makes any sense. So what I'll do is I'll cut this out that I know is from the other pattern. We can use the old one as a reference here. Oh, there goes the phone again. Gotta go answer that. Well, I'm glad I answered that call. That might be a good job. Okay, so what I see here is what's missing. So I'll go ahead and just draw that one in. Now I know. Okay, finish cutting this one out. I know that this one here is the tricky one because this has to go around the plastic part on that visor. So it really can't be too big or too small. Jeez, I can't hold this thing. Let me try going this way. All right. So this is also going to be the same on the opposite side. So I can cut this one out. And now we have a restored pattern. Okay, that's what it's supposed to look like. Do you remember what the original looked like? See this one here? Looks nothing like that, right? So that's why we have to do that. Okay, now I have a sun visor here. How do I start a hole? I guess I could do that. So I'm just going to make a generic hole, which will help me make the real hole. Okay. Now, let's focus. So this is a lot different of an animal when it comes to sun visors. If you've ever seen any of my other sun visors videos, they were nothing like this. You know, those sun visor videos, believe it or not, are some of my most popular videos. They've gotten some of the most views. At the time I was making those videos, I had no idea that there's such an interest in sun visors. I was just doing them just to do them. Just because that was part of the job. You know, part of my daily work. Okay. I think we got it. I think we just gotta finish these little tabs right here. Let's go ahead and get those marked and pre-bent. Line that up. Score it. This one here gets 2. This is special tool number 77512. Right? Okay, look at that. So this has to be able to flip back and forth like that. There we go. Now when this is folded and we sew everything together, this will go back and forth like that. Yep. I think this one's ready. We got to make another one for the other side, but I'm not going to bore you guys with that because you already saw it. So I'm just going to continue And we'll get this one here covered. Testing. Okay, now that we have this cut out, let's take a look and check the fit. So, the important fit is going to be this area right here. And then this slider here has to go over that. So we know that that's right. This looks right. Okay, we'll flip it over. Check the other side. Okay, this here looks like it could use some trimming. So what I am going to do, looks like I could probably trim off a little bit off of here. I'm just gonna mark it so that way I know I can take some off there. Okay, this is the one. So let's see if I can imagine what that looks like. Okay, let's go ahead and cut that up. This just needed a little bit, 1/16 of an inch. Should make this a corner too. Okay, got that one. Now this one. Okay, check our fit. Looks a lot better. Let's just double check, officially double check. Okay, that looks pretty good. That looks pretty good. I guess I could probably use just a little bit more right there. So there's a little bit of gap here because of the thickness of the headliner material. I think that after this, we're ready to cover it. Let's see. Okay, it's looking pretty good. I think I need to trim this right here just a little bit. 1/16 of an inch. Okay, the rest of it looks pretty good. It's starting to look like the Sun Visor again. This is what's going to be crazy, is this thing is so thick right here. But we are going to make it happen, aren't we? We never, ever, ever give up, right? This is the material that was chosen for these Sun Visors, so I'm going to go ahead and cut this out. Leave plenty of overlap there. Okay. So now I'm going to put some glue on this side. What I do is I just put the glue around the outer edge, not on the middle. I let the middle float. So we're going to do all around all the edges on this one. Oh wait, no, that's the wrong side, huh? Isn't it? Yep. Okay, let's do the right side, not the wrong side. This is the back side. Just like my other videos, I don't let it sit for 10 or 15 minutes when I'm doing foam, like some of the YouTube experts recommend before putting the contact adhesive together. So now we'll do the final trim. Okay, so now these corners are inside corners. Same with this one. So what we do with the inside corners is we pull it like that. Outside corners, we do a 45-degree cut. That way we don't have a lot of bulk. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're just going to continue to wrap all the way around. So what I do, instead of pulling this like this, because you'll end up getting, it'll look wavy like this. So this is technique number 894. So what you're going to do is you're going to take your flat hand like this, start from the back, and you're going to roll it like this. That's what you do on all the straight lines. That way you end up with a nice straight edge. Ask me how I know. You know, it's always through making mistakes is how you learn. So that's why I'm telling you now. That way you don't have to reinvent the wheel. I tell you where I made my mistakes, so you don't have to. Unless if you want to. If you want to find out your own mistakes, so that way you can say, hey, I made a mistake, I'm learning. Okay. This one here is going to be interesting. So when I cut my relief cuts, I don't go right to the cardboard there, because we want that material to wrap around that edge. So we'll take this material, we'll wrap it like that. Okay. The other thing you can do on these corners here too is you can do the 45 on these corners. So you can cut them a little bit closer like that. So that way there's not so much bulk. See, when you wrap it, there's not a lot of bulk there now. Take your flat hand, roll it. Okay. We're just about there. Look at that. Okay, so now I'm going to open up a hole here for the mirror. Oh, this is tough stuff. Can't even get the scissors through it. Okay. Gonna leave some material there that I can tuck underneath that mirror. Okay, let's see if we can get this on. I think that's where I'm going to focus right now. is, oh man, I probably should have done something about that. It's very dirty. I'm going to clean that first. Yeah, because you can't clean this after you put the new material. It's a lot better to do it before. Okay, it looks much better. Okay. So now we'll put this together. So all this material has to get tucked under that mirror. This is my, what we call a stuffer or a tucking tool. Some people call it a tucking tool. I've always called it a stuffer. But that's how I grew up calling it, so I don't know what you call it. Maybe you have your own name, huh? That I've never heard about. You can always put that in comments, what you call this tool. Okay, let's see if I can continue getting this under there. It's a really tight fit, so there's not much room there to get underneath this thing. Let's see. I'm stuck now. I think I'll come back to that later because I might have to make some kind of adjustment with this. See how it's still moving around all over the place? I don't want to cut it now and then come up short later. So the next thing I need to focus on is this area right here. Make sure that that's going to fit good, and that's looking pretty good. Everything's looking pretty good. Almost time for us to go to the sewing machine. Okay, so what we're going to start sewing is on this corner right here. So what are we not going to do? What we are not going to do is put in a lock stitch right there. So what we're going to end up doing is we're going to end up hand tying the stitch. Well, you know what? I'm wondering if this is going to start creeping on me. I think that's a possibility. This might be one of the very, very rare, you might be witnessing one of the very, very rare occasions that I am going to switch over to a zipper foot. Let's try the zipper foot instead. So I'm going to go ahead and change that out. Dig it in my little drawer right here. This is the zipper foot. You can see it right there. Very, very rare. You know, 99% of the time I just keep my welt foot on there. I never take it off my machine. But this time, I think we're going to need this. So what we're going to do is we're going to start right here. We're not going to lock the stitch because what we're going to end up doing is hand tying the stitch. That's the hardest part right there, is on the straight edge. That's why I was quiet. Okay, I'm going to leave this a little long here. So that's what we're going to do, is we're going to hand tie it here on the back. We're not going to put an ugly lock stitch there. Okay, we'll hand tie this end while we're at it. Should have put my glasses on. Okay. Now we got to do this corner right here. Nope, the thread just popped. Okay. This is real world here. You know, I easily could have edited that out, but this is what it's really like. Let's try it again. And tie these ends. So it's really nice if you have more than one of these stuffing tools or tucking tools. That way you can have one that's prying up while the other one is tucking. Got to keep in mind there's a mirror there. It's a piece of glass. Okay, I think that there's a little stud there in the way. So I think what we have here is too much material. I guess it does go under there. Let me see. Walking a tightrope here. Well, were you holding your breath like I was? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yep. Yep. Well, my friends, until next time, we'll see ya. If you like this video, you'll really like the next one.